So welcome to Grandpa Hill's True Stories. Today is December 31st,
New Year's Eve,
2024. This story is for my children, my grandchildren, and all children, but this story took place in 1967. That's 33, 43, 53, 57 years ago, which means I was like 9 years old.
Wow.
And like Annette's probably about 11 and you're 8 or 9. So I was just about in between your guys' age.
Brennan's not.
And I did something for the very first time. And I only did it a few times after that. I went sailing. And that's the name of this story. Sailing in the winter. By myself. I sailed solo.
Did you run away or something?
No, I didn't run away.
Then how were you able to sail by yourself?
That's part of the story. So it was early January, right around this time. Like this is late, the last day of December. So it was in that first week of January. And I lived in Rochester, Michigan on Livernois Road. We had a little house on 5 acres. The front acre was all yard. Most of our playtime was in the front yard. In the summer, we were having bike races. We were playing 500, which is a baseball catching game. And we loved to play tag and dodgeball. Dodgeball was good too. But it isn't summer now, and it wasn't summer then in 1967. In the winter, we would build snow forts.
Yep.
Big snowballs and have snowball fights. We'd leave little spaces between the big balls so we could spy on our enemy and be ready to throw snowballs as soon as they were out of snowballs. So we had this little secret where we would pile up, like, my job might be making snowballs. So I make like 40 or 50 snowballs, and I'd keep handing them to my big brothers to throw them. But not too many, because I only had 2 big brothers. So one of them would have to be on one side, one on the other. And I wasn't going to make snowballs for both brothers.
Running back and forth.
Yeah. So back then, we'd also have snowball fights. We played a game called Fox and the Geese.
Yeah, I like that game.
So you have this little home, and you'd have to make a pathway through the snow to your den. And then you were the goose, and the fox might be like Brendan, and he'd have to go and chase the goose. And if the goose got into their walkway to go in, then they were safe. Well, then they had to come back out again. But when the fox got you, you were done. Fox and geese. We also had sleds. Today they make sleds, and you know, like sleds today, they have their plastic tubs, their plastic discs, or their little things with skis on them for runners. But back then, we had steel runners.
Yeah, we have one of those.
You have one. And they were always made by the same company, Radio Flyer.
Radio Flyers, that's right.
And they were such sleds that you could sit on them and steer them with your feet, or you could lay on them and steer them with your
We have
hands.
ones exactly.
And we could even lay on them and then have another brother lay on top of you, and you could and keep on going. A younger brother.
Yep, we do.
Yeah, I know.
So those are the only sleds I knew in 1967. We all had sleds except for Charlie. He was the oldest brother. He had given up a sled to ride a toboggan. A toboggan would have been made out of wood, and it required big hills. It went very fast. We also called him Chucky, but Charlie was not one to take his little brother's toboggan.
Toboggans are the ones that have the curve in the front.
Yeah. So his boyfriends and later his girlfriends were much more interesting than little brothers for going tobogganing. So you would lay down on the sled and steer with the front handles, or you could sit, like I said. And if you were really little, like Owen, you could get towed.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were injured, you could get towed back to safety or the hospital, which didn't happen. That's a different story, but yeah.
Yeah. It depends on if you're playing a snowball fight.
So if I was towed, though, it wasn't, and this is important for you guys, I was never towed by my father, and I was never towed by my mother.
Well, that's good. So?
Because they were in the house. So if I needed towed, it would have been from a sibling.
Okay.
We would help each other out. So when we were sledding it was about 35 degrees out that day in 1967. What do you think we were sledding on? Using our radio flyers.
A field.
A field, yes. It was the front yard.
Snow.
No hill. A little bit of slope. But no.
Ice.
We were not on snow. We were on ice.
Ice. Oh boy.
So we were sledding on icy grass for the first half of the yard and then onto iced, glazed over snow. An inch or two deep, but it had that real crusty stuff on top. With some snow that was glazed over. So I would try to run on the ice and put my sled down and glide. And that was good, but you couldn't get going very fast because you're running on ice. Not simple. So it didn't work too well. So as I'm trying to do that, there went my brother Eugene. He was flying past me. Or should I say, sailing past me. He had taken two boards, two 2x2s, and an old towel from the rag pile, nailed it to both boards, held it up, and the wind would catch him and take him across the yard.
So cool.
He was sailing.
I wish I could do that. I've tried.
It's like Hans Brinker and the Solar Skates.
Yeah.
How did he make it?
He just took an old towel and two sticks. He just raised the pole. You just got to get on scooch it forward, get a little push, and then put it up. So it was really windy out, and you're sitting on the sled. And you take
up and then you're like, what?
You moved and the wind blew you. Yeah, you sailed, not up in the air. You're sailing on the ground.
Oh.
Okay. Nowadays they sail in the air too. So you went faster and faster over the flat part of the yard. Then you got to the slope, and then you got really going fast, and on the glazed. And I wanted to do that. Gravity and wind. You had about 400 feet that you'd be sledding. Because it's a full acre wide. I think an acre is 440 or 220 or something. I don't know. It was only a couple hundred feet. But you got going pretty fast. I don't know how fast. But then, it happened again. My brother was going past me again. I hadn't even got back from my first sled run. He is really moving and having a lot of fun. Can I try your sticks? I want to sail. Get your own sticks. And nails and rags. So that's sort of what I did. I went and got material, 2x2s and roofing nails and a hammer, and in 20 minutes I had a sail. A little push from my younger brother Jerry, and break me loose.
Yeah.
Put up my sail, and whoa, did I go! I was smaller than my brother.
Oh.
And so he'd be breaking through the ice pit a little bit, breaking through the snow, just a little bit. And I was just like a hockey skate.
Yeah. Right on top.
With the wind behind me. Oh yeah, it was. And then my mom noticed what I was doing. She had opened the door, the front door of the house, not the storm door, just the wood door. And she was waving, and I'm going like, whoa, I've impressed her. I'm 9 years old, you know. That was really important to me. Yeah. And then she just waving. She's at a distance. She's like 70 yards away, and the wind's blowing and everything else. And the wind is blowing a lot. They didn't open that door very often because you lose a lot of heat out of the house. But she has that open, and I get done with the run. I come back up. And she's still waving. I thought, this is really cool. that she's going to spend this much time. And then she opens the storm door. And she says to me, "Are those the pillowcases?"
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
And, yeah, they were the pillowcases. It turns out, I didn't know it, but they were brand new pillowcases.
Wow.
And I had one of those brand new pillowcases strapped onto my poles. So her waving were actually frantic protests to stop me from destroying the pillowcases that I had already put holes in. So that pillowcase became my pillowcase. And I had to buy a new one. And I apologized and all that stuff.
Sure.
But it became a family story about how maybe like, I don't know. So I had used good new pillowcases.
Mm-hmm.
And I was what I would call ignorant. I'd ignored, I didn't pay attention to the value of those pillowcases.
Mm-hmm.
I really just wanted to go out and sled. And I was also a little disturbed that my brother wouldn't let me borrow his.
Yeah, right, sure.
But that would be like making excuses and stuff. So I replaced them. I replaced the pillowcase. And that's how I went sailing for the first time in my life. In the winter, on the ice, in Rochester, Michigan.
Sounds fun.
Later that year, I had watched sailing on the TV. And it might even have been an Olympic sport at that time. I don't know. But people would travel at amazing speeds on the TV. They'd go like over 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour in these. And they'd race and they'd make turns.
Yeah.
Just like you would on a sailboat because
Right.
you'd have regular sails.
Right.
So, what did I learn? No pillowcases for your sails.
Yeah.
Be respectful to my parents and their belongings, because it's really their pillowcase. Although it became mine because I bought them a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And being responsible. You know, they thought I would have known better.
And also,
Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, and also just you learned a higher level of sledding or sailing. It was just, you had a higher experience.
I had to get out and do it.
Yeah.
And I secretly believe that my mom was still proud of me for my ingenuity. Because I had a much better sail than my brother. Oh, yeah. It really, I don't know for sure, but I would say I was probably moving at about 20 miles an hour, like a fast bike.
So how did you connect the pillowcase?
Oh, I used roofing nails.
Roofing.
I wrapped it around and then put a roofing nail
Okay.
on another roofing nail.
And you
Another roofing nail.
You held it out like that.
Yeah, it was a king-size pillowcase out there.
So cool. Right.
And it was doubled over a little bit that way so that, because it couldn't be too heavy because I'm 9 years old and you have to be able to hold it up against the wind and let it down, or you could turn it a little, it would turn your sled just like a,
Your age.
yeah. 9 years old, 9.5 almost. So that's my story.
That is a good story.
You like that?
Don't you play King
Grandpa.
Marshmallow?
Yes, Gorf?
Grandpa made his mom mad, didn't he?
Yeah, you're right, Gorf. She was mad. But Grandpa thought she was happy and admiring his sailing.
I think Grandpa should have used a different material for his sail.
Yeah, you're probably right, Gorf. But it turned out to be the best material ever for a young boy to be sailing on the ice.
I think...
Excuse me, Gorf. It seems like you are missing something that you already know about, Grandpa. His thinking is different, and he was still very young. He did not always think things through to understand what the consequences would be.
Was Grandpa being what they say is short-sighted?
Short-sighted is not being able to think or see or anticipate what his mom might think, or to not consider that the pillowcases were brand new. Grandpa was not short-sighted. So Grandpa wasn't being short-sighted? Then why did he do things he did? He loved his mom. He did not want to destroy things. Grandpa was all over the place in his thinking. When his mom was weaving, he thought it was admiration. When he learned they were new pillowcases, he immediately felt responsible. It was like the light turned on. If you needed a word for it, you would say he was not paying attention. He was not thinking of anything other than what he was trying to achieve right at the moment. The best sailing ship ever.
Is that why Grandpa's mom did not punish Grandpa?
Gorf. Grandpa was punished in the sense that he was held responsible. It is what's called restitution. Does restitution hurt much? I don't like to be hurt. Nope. Restitution does hurt, but only if your repentance and empathy are lacking. If you want to be good and you want to be better than when you have caused someone a loss, you will want to do something to try to replace the loss. Then restitution does not hurt. It can easily make you happy to make it right and with the other person. I get it. It's like Rudolph in the Christmas special. He realized that his running away from Christmas Town had caused a lot of trouble, and he wanted to make things right. It made him feel good, even if he suffered to make restitution. Excellent, Marshmallow. Yes, you have indeed, as they say, got it.
I want to have lots of empathy and forgiveness and repentance so that I will be able to enjoy restitution.
Yeah, me too. I want that too. Lots of it. Yes. I must go now. I hope both of you grow in understanding so that you can help Grandpa's children, his grandchildren, and all children to want what you want. Does that include wanting food? I'm hungry. So hungry. Let's eat. Yum. Hamburger. I was supposed to say that line. Can you pass the chubs? Why, of course, Marshmallow.